to show you one more technique for helping kids learn about letters. And this is borrowed from Reading Recovery. What you would do is you would help kids make an individual ABC book. Now, this is kind of a fancy one. I got one of the blank books from Lakeshore Learning, but I've also done this with just 5x7 note cards, taking 15 of those, stapling them together, and creating an individual ABC book. The way you do the ABC book is you are going to first give the letter ID test and find out which letters the child knows. And then you're going to come into your blank book, and you can see on the bottom corner of each page of my blank book, I've put in a little cheat sheet note of what letter is going to go on that page. And the reason for that is when you start this book, you're only going to put in the letters that the child knows in the form that they know them. So we could see at the point that we had made this book, Jake knew the capital E, but not the lowercase e. And he didn't know anything yet about F. So the first part of making this book is you give the letter ID test to see which letters the child knows. You put the little tiny pencil index marks on all of the pages. And then during lessons, when children are working with you on letters, this could be a center activity, or you could incorporate it into your guided reading lesson. You'll start by including in the book or adding into the book one or two letters that the child already knows. So maybe at the beginning, Jake knew the B in capital form. So we wrote the B, and then he wanted a picture of a beagle. Now, this is a little risky, right? Because that could look like a dog in retrospect. So I even wrote the word beagle here to remind us that's what we were focused on. He knew A in the upper and lowercase form, and I just made a quick apple, and he colored it in. So at the first part of making this book, you're going through and letting the child put in the letters that they know. Now, because we're using marker, what I ask children to do before they put the letter in the box or on the book is to write it on a practice page a couple times so I know that they can actually form that letter. Some letters he, as we talked about, doesn't know anything about yet. And what this gives you then is once you work with the child to put all the letters that they know, what this provides you with is a assessment of what letters they know and what letters they need to learn. So I can quickly thumb through here and see that really we need to work on the letter H. There's no knowledge for H. And we need to work on the letter L in its lowercase form. And what I love about this as assessment is that as the child learns a letter, then we're going to add it to the book, and then I will remember that they know that letter. The other thing I love about this book is that I can use this as a review at the beginning of a guided reading lesson. I could pass out each student's ABC book and ask them to read their ABC book. And they can read the ABC book because it only includes letters that they know. And they were part of deciding what the picture should be in this text. Now, I don't let kids draw their own pictures mostly. I draw the pictures so that they are, well, my drawing's not that great, but it's close, probably closer than what a child might be able to do. And I want them to be able to remember that sound reference. The way they read this is A, apple. B, beagle, hopefully. C, I think this was a cookie. So here's an example of why it might be a little tricky to let children draw the picture, right? I also use cut up pictures from old phonics workbooks. And let me show you one of my favorite techniques. Where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Is to, I have a little folder. Oh, this is risky. Okay, here's my little folder. Okay, and in my little magazine folio here, I have little envelopes, and the envelopes have in the corner each letter of the alphabet. All right, and then one rainy Sunday, I got the significant people in my family to take a couple of pictures of an old phonics workbook and cut those up and put the pictures in this little envelope. So in this envelope, I have a picture of a heel and a hand and a hat and another hat and a helicopter, you see? But what I like about having this collection of pictures is if I have a child who is doing the H page, so maybe Jake learned about the H right over here. There's the H page is blank, and where he's going to put the letter H in there, I can just pull out 3 pictures and say, okay, for your H page, do you want to use helicopter, hat, or helmet? And this is a very quick way of getting an illustration decided there. Still give them a little choice, but we can quickly paste that into the page and move on. You also saw how Jan Richardson did sound sorts. You know, these pictures also are great for sound sorts because really I don't have to go and find materials for my sound sort. I know that in my little box over here, I have a H, and if I wanted to compare that to the sound of D, that day I just open those 2 envelopes and look, I've got what I need for my sound sort right away. Pull out a couple of D pictures, and I'm going to be good to go for that teacher-directed sound sort. See how this works? So making these envelopes, and I made these envelopes like 25 years ago, and I'm still able to use these, right? It's just a matter of cutting up some old workbook pages that give me that initial sound, or the other place that's really good to get those images is in the back of your Words Their Way book. Remember Words Their Way? Words Their Way has pages of images like this. Just cut them up, put them in an envelope, put your envelopes in alphabetical order in a box, and then if you are doing these alphabet books with kiddos, or when it comes time to do your letter sound sorts, you can really quickly find pictures you need to do that particular work. All right, so this was the personalized ABC book as a way of helping kids kind of archive and review and build what they know about letters and sounds. Now, the funny aside was my kids loved doing these, and they loved seeing how the number of pages grew over time. Um, this is this was Jake's official book with me. Then he went to his kindergarten class, and he was making these for other kids. So here's O for octopus. There we go. K for kid, and E for eagle. And I think this was going around a stencil. Now we have to work on directionality, you know, orientation of the book, but isn't that cool? Obviously, kids like these. ABC books, personalized ABC books, one more technique to put in your bag of tricks.